Alright, we are in it for week, what is this, 5 of Explorer Pauper Ladder. We're going to come back with Monogreen Ramp. I was considering playing something different, but I just really couldn't get it together this week, so I'm just sticking with the deck I already have built for Explorer Pauper. Draft Brewery, good player, probably going to bring something really solid. I obviously can't keep a hand with no land, so we get to start off on the play with a mulligan, so that sucks. Jeez, that's also really, really rough, but we're just going to trust that we get there, we pitch a land back, and we'll go for it. And everything's here to give us a good start. We just have to hope to see a big guy. Don't want to see more lands. Okay, so I'm guessing we're playing mono blue if they're doing surveil, so we're going to have to deal with terrors. Keep this back because if we do draw into cavalry, we want to be able to cast it and get going quickly. Oh wow. Now we will spend the treasure. Maybe pick. Don't take 5. Well, another match where we see some really rough draws from my opponent, and seeing that they're on red-green, I don't think I really need to am I gonna need to fight stuff? That's the question. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they're going to bring in a good amount of removal. So I think I may need to have some flyers because I'm guessing there's going to be, or some flying protection, so I'm guessing there's going to be Modern Age. And if they're ground-based into Terror, I want to keep my Pinions. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out 2 Gluttons. I'm going to pull out the Ram Throws. I'm going to bring in more protection, and I think we bring in actually, you know what? Let's peel 1 more Glutton. We'll keep 2 Ram Throughs. Let's have a little bit of interaction. Because if they do land something worth killing, let's kill it, right? So, let's see how this goes. Meh, but we'll go with it. Really want to see. Okay. That's cool. They're doing it on their turn. That might have been a waste of a protection spell, but I'm... Okay. Cool. That wasn't on my turn. Not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to go in the option. They have another Frantic Firebolt. We're in trouble. Okay. What do we got here? We don't have enough to make this stick. That's a big guy. So I mean, we can't get big enough to ram through yet. Let's just add to the board. Let's use our surveil and try and filter a little bit. Let's see if we can get something to die on our turn so we can get a bigger life clef cavalry. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Okay. A little too late. So let's go to game 3. And now that we see that we're dealing with serpentine curve, let's go back to what we were thinking about here. And let's take out the ram throughs. Let's put in the ice hides. Take out glutton. And let's put in wait, how many ice hides do we have? 2 ice hides? I think we do this because they have the big plays. We can kind of combo block and see if we can thwart the enemy, right? I don't know. It may not be a good idea. This is fine. Well, boo. I mean, again, both games we just get early pressure and they get landlocked. So, I mean, I guess that's the benefits of running monocolor, but yeah. I mean, I was actually kind of stalled on lands there a little bit. I could have got out a little bit faster to get that life craft, and then, lay down the ice hide. I think, even if they're hitting lands, I think I got that game okay, because ice hide is a big problem. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That was rough. Again, it seems like so game match one of this league, kind of same thing. My opponent just kind of fell victim to, mana screw, and I ran pretty hot. And then weeks 2 and 3, I played my two worst matchups, um, which are White Flyers and 8 Wrath. Although I think I have a way to beat 8 Wrath. I just didn't really draw. I think that one's beatable. I think the Flyers one is beatable too, but I don't know that I was really boarded properly to face that. So I think with some tweaking and improvement, you can make those matchups better. Um, And I think the Izzet Terror or the Izzet Curve, I think this matchup is probably in my favor just because, again, they have to worry about mana issues and getting things to line up properly. Ultimately, if they get a big creature down, that plays a problem. But I didn't see any aerial presence, and I can fly through unopposed since they do run Electromancer and a few small creatures. That opens up options for me to like fly through for big damage, and um, and uh, and then ram through, or to bring in Ice Hide and just have a blocker that I don't have to worry about, and then hit them at the right time with a thwart where they come through and leave themselves a little bit exposed, and then I can make that play. Just have to make sure that you bait out counter spells and things like that at the right time. So I think that one ultimately ends up winnable, but we didn't really get to see any of those good interactions, because they were both games that I won there. They were kind of struggling to fix their mana and land. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can't. I guess the lesson is that you can't. Week 4, unfortunately, my recorder crapped out, and we had a really good. I think it's probably been the best match we've had. We won that one 2-1 against Orzhov Zombies, which was a really good back and forth. There was oh man, I wish I would have got that one recorded, but my recorder crapped out for some reason, and I wasn't able to salvage anything except like the first 5 minutes of game 1, which was that one really didn't get going until we hit the sideboard. Games 2 and 3 were really good. I guess the lesson learned is mono green will get you if you are having any mana struggles. So don't have mana struggles. So that was that. As far as where the deck is now, let's take a quick look at where the deck is at, because I did do a few changes from weeks 1, weeks 2, weeks 3, along the way, and where we're sitting out now. So initially we had Fierce Witchstalker in there, and I liked it, but what I was finding is Careful Cultivation was really turning out to be much better than just giving me the token for Glutton, right? It's 1-3 in reach is a huge boost. Definitely helps with flyers, and if you can keep guys protected, that can really help solidify your air game. Let's look at it this way so it's easier to see. Glutton is typically the first one to cut because I have better ways to get treasure tokens between Jewel Thief and Bladed Pinions. Bladed Pinions is definitely an all-star. I think 3 is the right number. Because there are some games where it's good enough just to get big beefy dudes, and you want to just slam a Glutton down and then slam a Jewel Thief or slam a Lifecraft right behind it, and you can usually get people to stop. But the main slot was Witchstalkers went out. My land count went up a little bit because I felt 20 lands was a little light, so we upped the number of forests a little bit. We like the dig site where it's at because it helps us filter, in the mid to late game if we start to get stalled out, and hopefully get another big body sooner. Initially we had Migratory Greathorn to help get more lands out and accelerate. But the problem is Migratory just wasn't it wasn't really right for this deck. It's definitely better for a lower curve green deck that plays on curve and doesn't really rely on the big bombs, because effectively you're putting it on a mana elf, and then you're going to want that mana early, so it doesn't really get as aggressive as you can when you're playing more cards between 1 and 3 mana. You typically have a mana to spare here and there, so not quite the right card for this one. So we moved over to Tanuki because it can help us essentially ramp land, but then late it is, going to work as a nice big trampler, and we opted over that, over the Crows and Tusker. I don't even know if is Crows and Tusker even Explorer legal. I think it is, but even if it is, I think this is a better call because you have trample. You always want to have trample. So everything in here has trample, anything of relevance, because ram through is going to, typically be your big finish to help you push across. So yeah, that's where the deck looks at main. Sideboard is still kind of in flux, just a few things. We kept Find a Curse just to keep, token generation and keep enchantments off us. Thwart the enemy is good against anything where you get kind of a stalemate. Tamios is usually the stuff that we're bringing in. We still got a few rooms for improvement. But in Monogreen, your options are limited. But Ice Hide really works well in removal, and when you're facing other removal decks, because you can, effectively have extra protection spells against anything that they're going to remove. We almost got there in the 8 Wrath matchup with Ice Hide, but we just really drew not only crummy in those games against our worst matchups, we just didn't have things set up right. So I think we're honing in on a better list, to prepare for an Explorer meta. I still don't know that this is a great deck for Explorer. I mean, I think you can probably do better with more traditional green decks. Like, I think you probably get better with something that's more on curve and accelerates properly, and just makes use of like the good value creatures in green. Or you can play something out of green that's, doing draw spells, because you have cards like Owlbear and Packmate and Visionary all available to you. But again, I'm trading off some of that extra draw for stats, and I'm just trying to like put out something beefy, protect it, and just ride that thing to victory. So really traditional, kind of old style green, be bigger than the removal that's out there, and try and ride those big guys to victory. So it worked, even though we really didn't get anything big out this week. We just got out Jewel Thief, which again is a great card. It's probably the best green card out there right now. In anything on Arena, it just does everything, and it's you get a few of them out quick, and your opponent stumbles a little bit, and they're off to the races. So I think in a traditional deck where you can protect it, beef it up, get out there fast, you're probably looking better for green. But this is kind of a different alternative. I rambled too long. Hope you like it. I wish the games were a little bit more back and forth. We almost had something going in there in the second game, but those curves really locked me out. I probably should have anticipated that better, but I didn't. I was just thinking we were looking at more like Izzet Terror. But yeah, I mean, curve it's a strong card. I mean, you lay down an 8/8 and a 10/10. It's like, well, that's bigger than anything green's gonna throw out. So, yeah. But luckily we were consistent, in getting that early pressure, and they just weren't able to find their game in games 1 and 3. So I hope you liked it, and we'll catch you for a final week.